where everybody try to fatten their pocket. So many hustle for the cash, so it's hard to knock it. Everybody got their own thing, currency chasing. Worldwide through the hard times, worrying faces. Shed tears as we bury brothers close to heart. What was a friend, now a ghost in the dark.
Well, hello. God bless you, community family, and welcome to Gang Talk with Skip Townsend and Sister Heron. Are you hustling for the money in L.A. like Tupac said we used to do? So, this is an hour devoted to the nightmare that we're surviving. Thank God we're surviving it. And the good news for us to say is that all the work that's been done in Los Angeles is really starting to have an effect. And that the best news we can share with you is that we're achieving some success. Huh, Skip?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, because I wanted to talk to you about where I saw you last weekend being a peacemaker on the job, on the spot, and posted it on Facebook with that harsh-looking face, that young man you were standing next to. I wanted to reach through the screen and kind of grab him like a grandmother.
Oh, yes, indeed. Well, first of all, sister, let me say I give all honor and praise to God. And you said this nightmare we're living in. And just because I have one nightmare doesn't mean I quit dreaming. I'm still thinking that this is going to work. So I'm truly grateful to be here. Grateful to be alive. And the young man you're talking about is commonly referred to as Compton Menace.
Menace.
Oh, yes, and he is a menace for sure. He done started a lot of fights, a lot of shootouts and stuff started because of him.
He looked like it too.
Yeah, he doesn't have a filter.
Okay.
So yes, indeed. So
let me shout out to Menace. You look like a menace.
If you saw the NWA movie, he's the one who came on the bus with the gun.
Okay.
So I don't know if you saw that, but he's one of the ones who came on the bus with the gun and said to the little young O'Shea that you better stay in school or something because, that is with the foolishness. So in real life, he's that dude.
Yeah.
That gets stuff started.
Yeah.
And also in the movies, he
looked like it too.
To get that stuff started. So
when you see him, you tell him the old lady said, "Yeah, you look like you trouble, son."
Talking about it then.
Right, he's that dude. So I was definitely trying to convince him to think more about positive things.
Yeah,
and
the bigger picture.
He said, "Okay, OG, all right, now leave. Now you can go now. All right, you didn't pray for us." I said, "I didn't pray for you." He said, "Well, you kind of prayed for us, man. You could go now."
Yeah, you could go now. Okay, you have your instructions. That's pretty deep. But I was very proud of you because folks don't realize it's that kind of investment that it takes to get the attention of those we really need to reach. And he's one of them we need to reach. I don't care if he was in a movie or not.
Right.
Son, we still need to talk to you.
Right.
Yeah. But, and two, before we get started with our returning guest, because we're really excited he's back tonight, we want to thank our guest from last week. Mm-hmm. You remember?
Mm-hmm. We had guests last. Oh, the young people, yes, indeed. And then you surprised us too because you went and patronized one of them. Mm-hmm. So yes, indeed, I'm very honored and truly blessed to have had that panel that we had last week. I want to thank Barbara for bringing them and suggesting that they come, and they did. They were obedient. So thank you to Jamel, which is known as Taco Mel.
Yes.
And Craig Baptiste is known as the Fries Man.
Yes.
And
Mr. Fries.
Mr. Fries, right. And the last one, he makes the Smitty, right?
Smitty signature pudding.
Signature pudding. So.
Yes. And you know the great thing about that, they're not only three young black men, but they own their own businesses. They're making a difference right where they are. And Mr. Fries has a storefront. Taco Mel has a storefront and a taco truck. Right. So when he closes his storefront, he goes and brings that taco truck to Manchester.
Now he has a twin brother.
Yes, I met the twin brother.
The twin brother goes out there in the truck while he's still at the store while he's closing up.
Right.
And it's just good to work together with family, and they're young. 28, was it?
All of them under 30.
Right.
All of them under 30. That was the best news and the gift, and we really wanted to show them off. And then Barbara and Kathy Wooten had an event Saturday, March for children, young children, and it was outstanding. The sad reality for us that the two ladies and I discussed is how overlooked the children are.
Right.
They're overlooked in this arena, and people just discount them. And as Barbara mentioned, well, Kathy and Barbara had two sons stolen from this violence, and Barbara's first son was taken many years ago at the age of 15 on the bus.
I remember that.
Yes, because we came out for her because that baby was just 15 years old and trying to get home from school on the bus, and didn't get that accomplished. And it turns out that, yes, the shooter was caught, but the shooter was 16.
Right.
Okay? And so her second son was murdered last year in the aftermath of some nonsense that happened in Hawthorne. But it came back to the community and ended up killing her second son. So the point that I'm making is that we have invited these ladies to bring the siblings. Bring the siblings of homicide victims, and let's do a show talking to them. Because as Barbara mentioned, her daughter has lost two brothers. Two brothers.
Man.
Okay? So who's looking out for them? Who's looking out for her? Who does she talk to in those moments where she's missing them?
Right.
You see, so it's a lot of work going on, and we thank those that are dedicated to it. But at the same time, we got a whole section that's not being addressed at all.
Right.
And that's the siblings. So I'm happy to say that I was with the young kids, thanks to Barbara and the women of the Watts Gang Task Force. But I met a 9-10-year-old child Saturday, little boy. His father's been killed. You know, and how do we speak life to him? What do we say to him? So that's what pulled me into their event. They had a lot of things going on Saturday, but that was one event that focused on the children.
Right.
So it was necessary that I...
And the sad reality, sister, is if you said the best thing you could say to him that Saturday, if everyone embraced him and said whatever that Saturday, there's still going to be a time when that child's going to be alone.
Yes.
And he's going to be thinking about his father.
Yes.
And he's going to be sad trying to figure out how to deal with this.
Yes.
Regardless of all the positive things that have been said to him, all the resources.
Yes.
That is a hole, that is an emptiness that can never be replaced.
Yes.
And I'm sorry to hear that, this young fella's going to go through that.
Well, this is the reality that brings us here every Thursday to talk about it, because this is our neglect of our own community members, starting with our children, that child is no more than 10 years old and he's already had a casualty that he's never going to forget. A lifetime memory, and we want to give them something more positive than the cemetery, than the prison. So, Skip, that's a blessing that you add into this hour every Thursday. So,
yes, ma'am.
I appreciate, and the gift God gave us was you, to bring you back in your right mind. Because you was part of the nightmare for a while, and saved you because he had more important things for you to do, and that's what you're doing now. And we don't do this, but I'm going to do a shout out to Second Call, because you guys really are making a serious difference. And from mentorship to employability to teaching how to do an interview. We were just discussing the lack of skills for interviews before we came on the air. But we'll get to that in our conversation, because we ask our guests to come back.
Do you know what's so ironic about this guest is the same thing that we're speaking on about our guest from last week, that 30-year-old group around, he's a little older than them, but still that group that is doing something positive. Mm-hmm. So when they have pictures of our young black men out here as gang members, thugs, holding pistols and stuff, we just had a panel with individuals who are not going to CDCR, and we have a young man here who is not going to CDCR.
If he's going to get somebody out.
Right.
Yes,
exactly.
That's where he's going to pay a visit to go get him out.
So we're bringing about the positive black people in our community to change that perception that we're all gang members, thugs, lazy or whatever. So I'm truly grateful to have met this young man here. And he's definitely a role model. He's so confident.
Yes.
I practice in the mirror, so I'm going to be as confident as him. I look at myself and say big words. Go ahead, brother. What's your name, man?
Man, well, first off, thank you, man, Sister Heron, Brother Skip, invite me out. It's an honor to be here, and see, I was here early. I just want to say
We're
that,
glad.
Right. Thanks for the food. We grind all day and sometimes forget to eat. So
Yes.
thank you for that.
Yes.
But I'm Attorney Jai Person Lynn. I'm a criminal defense mainly attorney in Southern California. I say that because I have had cases down in San Diego, up in Kern County, Riverside, San Bernardino counties as well, Ventura County as well, and what's the other one up there? San Luis Obispo,
okay.
Santa Barbara, I think that is. So, yeah, I've appeared all over Southern California. Drive about 25,000 miles a year.
Yeah. I'm not surprised because you're rare. You're rare. To find an African American attorney in our community is rare.
Well, it's
and-
doing this. There's a lot of dope ones out there that are like doing personal injury contracts,
Right.
government work. They're dope, but and I can't. You grew up in it. I don't necessarily want to be in it again. I get
But
that.
you're in it on a different side. You're on a different side. And we talked about that last week because I was really upset's a light word, that you had to wait 6 hours in our local South Bureau police station to see your client. And Skip and I made an agreement that we was going to make sure that kind of stuff stopped because he and I believe in that kind of activism. We have worked diligently to have communication with them even when they don't want to talk to us. We have a kind of policy that, look, you guys got to take care of this or we're going to have trouble. See, so Skip has that relationship with them. They know that I will make those kind of demands. And between us, we're going to make sure that we get that addressed. And my thing is we're not going to talk about them, not talk to them, too.
Right.
So we will be talking to them about that.
So looking forward to either August 10th or August 17th,
Yeah.
having them join us.
Yeah.
The watch commander lieutenant who's at 77 and also the deputy chief from
Yes.
South Bureau. We're going to discuss that.
Yes.
We're going to bring that situation up.
See if,
We're going to give them a chance to tell us what they've changed, what they're looking
Can I
forward
come
to
to that
changing.
show?
Yes, sir.
Who was it? Tingarides?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to bring
he's-
both of them in. Both
Hey
of them.
man, me and Tingarides had a good long discussion because where the young lady put out the video, got like 700,000 views, where she said the LAPD had murdered her father. She come to find out that wasn't the case. What it was people just. It was somebody with her father's first name,
yeah.
middle initial, and last
I
name
saw
who
that.
was in custody, but it wasn't him. And the further review, that initial officer just said, "Oh, he's in custody." That's like that actually gives the family relief. 'cause
Yeah,
they
she
was going
went.
up
She
there to
went
make a
live.
missing
She's on
persons
Facebook
report.
Live. I saw that.
Yeah, she was on Facebook Live, said that, and so I got hit up a bunch of times in that on Facebook
People think
Live.
about you when the stuff like that pops
Yeah.
up. Your number
And,
gets traveled
Yeah,
around.
we
Yeah.
talked, and she, I helped her, as well as Jasmine Mechanic helped her get through it and get the word out, and the thing is, in correcting that word, I do have to say, man, they were very much responsive.
Okay.
All right.
They was responsive.
They need
but
to
that
be.
kind of responsiveness from the gate
Right.
and figuring out, Charles E. Walker is in custody, but this not him. That's the key.
Right.
That's what it comes
So
down
he's
to.
alive and well somewhere.
No, he has passed away. But so they told him they was in custody. Then they told him he had passed away. But they didn't connect those dots to him like, oh, sorry, this person we told you was in custody was not him. Look, it's a different birthday. He been in custody for a month. So
Right.
it can't be him. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And this is how it happened. So just
Right.
instead of somebody taking the time to do that,
Right.
is
Well, it's the same kind of lack in the way that they treated you when you came to see your client and just
Well,
make
yeah.
you sit there for 6 hours. I mean, it's ridiculous the kind of runaround they are capable of doing, and we want to call them out on that, really.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely want to. It's tough unless you have a team as well, because they're deep, you know.
They are deep.
And
But we're deep too, and
Yeah,
South
we
Bureau
are.
deserves the same consideration that they give any other division in this city. And I'm going to tell you this way, because I appreciate Jasmine Cannick because she stays on law enforcement 24/7. Skip and I watch them, but we keep our focus on the street
yeah.
and the element that could be a threat. Okay, so we can't cover all
Jasmine's
of
a
it.
jewel to the community.
Yeah, we do monitor their conduct, and there has been a change in leadership, and I have not really had the same relationship with them since they killed Ezell Ford.
Wow.
Okay, so
Well, I tell you, it was, no disrespect to Tingarides, but it was a bittersweet day when the brother got sent to San Francisco.
Scott,
Oh, yeah.
Chief Scott.
Chief
Bill
Scott,
Scott.
Deputy Chief Scott, yeah,
Right.
William Scott.
Yeah, well,
Bill
I
Scott,
kind of feel different about that too. Bill Scott was definitely community based. He would definitely
Yeah.
hear the community, but he was a part of a system.
Yes.
So I could say he's
but it
a
was
Yes.
the best part we.
no. See, because of your age, you miss Kenny Gardner.
Yes.
Kenny Gardner was the best
Kenny
thing
Gardner.
in South
Yes, he
Bureau.
was.
So
Yes.
Bill
I
Scott,
remember Chief Bernard Parks.
no, that was horrible.
No.
Man, for me,
No.
for
No.
us,
No.
they was not acting up.
No.
When I was a teenager at the time.
Oh no,
Like before that and after that, they treated
that
differently.
was
Well,
horrible.
that's-
we didn't
maybe
really
I'll-
have communication with law enforcement until Chief Bratton came.
Right, Chief Bratton is
just,
the one.
Yeah, he was the one.
Chief Bratton is the one who brought Kenny Gardner up
Right.
from captain to commander.
Right.
Eventually made him deputy chief.
Right.
Bratton, I don't know if he was good for the city of L.A., but I know he was good for LAPD. He actually helped build LAPD to where they started the lines of communication
Right.
with the community. So
Right. Right.
I can't speak on him as a good person for the city, but for what he did for LAPD allows us to have that relationship now.
Right.
Whereas
Has it
under,
changed?
huh?
Has it changed?
Yeah, the relationship has definitely changed.
Not the
Well, now we have
relationship,
communication with them. We have the ability to communicate with them. And, it all came about because of the consent decree. It didn't happen
Right.
because South
Yeah,
Bureau
it wasn't 'cause he
demanded
liked
it.
black
But
people.
it's one thing it's one thing to genuinely open those lines, and then it's another to be like, look, this is how you do it. This is how you keep them off.
What-
Look, you see, you send a couple people out there, and I'm not saying that's what it did, but the way you, I think, test that is the LAPD's relationship with the community
Right.
before.
Right.
And then the LAPD's relationship with the community now that it's after.
Right. So one of the things is we have a community relations department. We have the senior lead officers who are going to a lot of the meetings, getting to know the people. We also have the CSP, the Community Safety Police, which I'm not tooting their horn, but they are there in the community to build relationships. So we have more people like the Tingarides. We have more people like Bill Scott. We have more people who are Dave Love, who are in the community, who actually know the community and have an invested interest in the community, so that we can even voice our concerns. Because my concern today, when I called Tingarides today, it was about coming on the show, but also about paintball guns. The youngsters are out with these paintball guns, and I'm like, why is Metro and South Bureau right now? They gonna shoot somebody. And he says, well, Skip,
Hey,
I don't
man.
want them to get shot. He says, I don't want them to get shot
Metro
thinking
gotta
it was
chill out, man.
a paintball gun. He says, because of the paintball gun, I don't want my officers to not protect themselves thinking it was a paintball
But
gun.
their job
I
is
said,
to
well, get 'em
protect
out.
us first.
Right.
That's
So-
the whole thing. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
But
That's the
here's the
problem.
thing, though.
They're
Imagine
supposed to die first.
Imagine me. Stop it.
That's
Okay,
that's
hold
what they
on.
signed up for.
Right, I get it,
Protect
wait.
the
No,
student.
no,
But wait, here.
No, I'm saying if
Yeah.
it's if a gunner coming, they have to run to that gunner.
Right.
That's their job.
Right.
And then so it's to protect us.
Right.
Right.
That is their job, to protect us. They have to protect us. So you can't say protecting myself against the ones I'm protecting is
Right.
justification for shooting.
Right.
It cannot be, and we can't at all. That has to be a hard line stance.
Well, this is
And
this
that's
is the problem we're still having with them, and the whole thing starts with communication because they have worked behind the wall forever. They have
that's-
never answered any questions
That's
we've
why
ever had
I'm
about their
tooting the
conduct.
horn for the conversation today.
Yeah,
This man is on vacation. This is Deputy Chief Phil Tangarini's on vacation, and he's taking my call.
right.
Look at my record of in and out of L.A. County jail custody. I've actually done a tour of different jails throughout the United States, and King County, Pierce County, and Clark County, Nevada. I've been everywhere, man. So for him to give value to my thoughts and even entertain that conversation, like, no, Scape, wait, my officers, and I'm like, no, my community, and for him to take that call is a major change that came about with Will Bratton. I cannot call Sheriff McDonald. Or anyone. I can't call Rambo now. I damn sure can't call Baca.
No.
You know, I can't,
But
I
you know
can't-
what? When you call Baca, at least you did
Yeah,
come.
Baca would
okay,
answer.
he
Yeah,
did come.
Baca would
and-
answer.
Yeah, he would answer. And we're really not here to talk about Baca.
No,
or-
he just came up. That's all.
I know.
We talking about relationship building now, and it's better. And
I think McConnell he decent enough.
right.
I don't know. Who knows?
Well, you know what? It's been a long time coming, and the truth is, it is not perfect. And the other truth is that South Bureau, before Chief Scott went to San Francisco, killed 4 young men last summer. Shot 4 young men in a 3-month period. All 4 of them were under
But is
21.
that South Bureau or is that Metro?
That's
'Cause I know
Metro
that
working out
killed-
of
you
South
gotta, you
Bureau.
gotta see it happening in South Bureau area.
But Metro.
I know
Metro,
at least
yeah,
one was
CJ.
for show Metro.
Yeah,
Right.
Cornell
What-
Snell.
Yes.
That was for show Metro, and that's the problem. Metro
Yeah.
jumping out on my homeboy who are businessmen.
Yes.
They went to Crenshaw High School and then went to Clark University, and they have a business on Slauson 6th Ave called Crenshaw and Clark. They ran up on them.
Yes.
Like they wouldn't shake. They like, oh, officer, this our business. Went to shake their hand. They wouldn't shake the hand. They just running up, grabbing them.
Metro. We got
Like,
problems
come
with
on,
Metro.
man.
No.
Like these
Right.
these college graduates.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, look,
Metro.
I had a similar situation. We're sitting out, and Wilshire Division came up, and they came up about 16 deep. And I said, man, we over 50. We got asthma, bad knees.
Yeah.
I don't know what y'all think. They said, well, we don't know who y'all are, so you got against the wall. And I'm thinking, man, this is horrible. This is a horrible way to build a relationship.
Yeah.
But all right, y'all, come on, let's get against the wall.
See, It's
That's
Wilshire.
what wouldn't have happened.
You wouldn't
wouldn't
have get
done
against
it.
the wall.
I wouldn't have done it.
We'd have been out there fighting Wilshire Division.
Yeah.
It would have been
I'm
fighting.
too old to fight
It
them
wouldn't
dudes.
have been fighting. It would have been like, look, what crime are we committing?
Right.
Right.
Then what gives you a reasonable suspicion we committing a crime?
Yeah, we had a college professor out there who was saying those things too, saying, no, you don't have to give him your ID. You're not driving.
Wasn't
This is not a state
Alonzo,
where you have to. Alex Alonzo, that's
he was with
he's
you
a USC graduate, and he's a college professor at Cal State Long
But
Beach.
that's But see, that's the thing though. Is you know, when you got that bar card and you it's the
Right.
same. You kind of feel like on this law or this authority of this bar card the same way they feel or they authority of they badge.
Yeah, but they only went to school 6 months. How long did you go?
Man, it was a long time.
Yeah,
Man.
they went 6 months. They went 6 months to get that badge and gun and tell the law to people.
And we want to get to the topics in hand, but I do want to say that we should put a stop to hiring officers who haven't been civilians at least 3 years. I don't
Oh,
think we should
right.
hire
Talking about
anybody.
they have to at least
from
be
the
21
military
or something.
or
No, at least
age.
be civilians, like after the military.
After
Right.
the military.
Like after
Oh,
the
man.
military, you can't go. You shouldn't be able to go.
Yeah.
Maybe if you've been in 20 years and you going into
A high
different
ranking,
division,
right.
but a street cop, nah, man.
I don't think
take
the
some
street
time.
police should be under 25 years old at all.
Right.
Not licensed to carry a gun in my neighborhood. Absolutely not.
I
we
couldn't
don't
even
need any
I couldn't even rent a
25-year-old
car at
policeman.
22 years old.
Thank you.
But you tell me he got a gun.
He got
can
a
make
gun and a
decisions.
license to kill.
And they say that the brain doesn't fully develop till after the age of 24.
That's right.
Well, either way, man, it's that you're supposed to think for yourself as a cop,
No.
not as a soldier.
Yeah.
These cops are not soldiers though. Soldiers are trained to don't think for yourself.
Right.
That's the training. That's gonna hurt you in this, but we're not enemy combatants.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're citizens. So you're supposed to use your judgment. The constable on patrol, that's the cop. So that's what you're supposed to do as a cop, and you need to be able to show that you have ability to do this. You have to have a certain understanding of not just the law, but people and the community you're in, because certain things are not going to be considered criminal in one community the same way they might be in another. And I don't think, and the whole thing about what a crime is, the whole thing about what a crime is, in certain kind of crimes, like is how the victim received it. You know, a punch. Is a punch a battery? If it's mutual combat, no, that's a defense to a battery.
Right.
You know, so is
that in the court of law that the victim gets to state how they felt about?
No, I'm saying that's what determines whether it's a crime or not. So what, you know, a victim might come and say, "Oh, he punched me," but then everybody said, "No, they were squabbling. He started it. You just got knocked out. Now this is how you getting back at him. Is trying to get him locked up." But still, it's based off of what happened. What can be proved happened was there consent in that particular situation?
Well, let me give a practical. There was a family dispute, son, sister, brother, sister. He grabbed the cell phone in the middle of this heated argument, and somebody called the police. They arrested him for theft, wanted to parole violate him for that theft of a cell phone, of his sister's cell phone. It's like, are you kidding me? You know, she wanted to withdraw the complaint. They still wanted to parole violate him.
Yeah, because she made it. If she said he stole it, that's what it is. That's what I'm saying. So it comes down to the victim, you know. So if she says he stole it, that's a criminal act. If it's like he's just being a butthole, he gonna bring it back. He just took it. You know, that's some civil stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
like the lady who just recently put the Amber Alert out. She loaned somebody her car. She was a 77 division as well. Loaned somebody her car, and the lady said she wasn't going to bring it back. She had went to Pachanga or somewhere out there, and so she put out the Amber
Went
Alert.
to the casino.
Went to the casino. So this lady said, "Oh, you ain't gonna bring my car back?" So she said she was carjacked, and her 16-year-old stepson was in the car. So they put out the Amber Alert, and then come to find out, they found the car.
Yeah.
And the lady said, "Man, she loaned me this car. She gave it to me. I got the keys." And so so she's in jail. She was arrested within a week. She pled guilty, and she got 3 months in jail and a whole lot of community
The
service.
one that had the car, or the one that reported
No,
stolen?
the one that reported it stolen.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
because that's such a big stupid trick.
Yeah, it really is.
It is, and criminals need to know. You need to stop robbing 7-Elevens and places like that. These high-end stores with these security cameras.
Well, not even. I mean,
like
7-Eleven
Smile.
not high end. Like,
Well, no. I was
the-
saying 7-Eleven and the high-end places.
Yeah, but
and-
7-Eleven still got good cameras. Though.
Yeah, they got
That's what I'm
good.
saying.
That's the
You
point
don't
I'm
have to
making
be
is they got good
high-end,
cameras.
But it just has to be. Somebody has to think like,
Yeah.
what's the penalty?
Yeah.
If let's say more than likely, if I get caught, I can get 2 years.
Well,
on
that
the
leads
deal.
right into OJ. Okay, what is the sentence for strong arm robbery? What is the normal?
Well, a lot of people go to Nevada on vacation and leave on probation. So what they gave him, the 33 years, is normal
9
that
to
I've seen.
33.
Well, I mean, because they have 1/4% of time. I did 5 years in Nevada. Actually, I did 19 months. So at 1/4% of the time, you can come home early. But what really kills me is the fact that so many people want him to stay in jail
Yes.
for the murders
Yes.
of Nicole Brown.
Don't say their name. Just
and
he's
the other one,
charged with murder.
the
And
Goldman.
nobody's gonna forget that.
Right. So, but here's the thing, though. He was not found guilty of that murder.
No.
So while he's in
And he
jail for
shouldn't have
this
been.
robbery,
He didn't like beat the system like the case.
right.
That case, and if OJ was in, anybody that thinks he's guilty of that and thinks he should have been convicted, put their loved one in the same position OJ was in, and it'll be clear to them then. No way, this case should even been filed.
Right.
Not based off of this. Not based off of.
Well, them tampering with the evidence is what cost them the.
But
the
that
verdict.
was a good thing for black people.
Yeah, it
What do
was.
you think, Jaye? That the sock had blood on both sides.
Both sides, yeah.
So then, how could his leg be in that sock?
Boy,
The
they were so
glove
mad
didn't
at
fit.
Dr. Henry Lee about that. Dr.
Right, so
Lee
you-
said there was 2 different knives and there was blood all the way through the socks. How does that happen?
Right.
He asked the right questions, and they
They figured it out. The problem is, people are still. That's what that is. It was like bad police work, and I really can't say who did that.
right.
I know they ain't proved OJ did it, but Mark Furman,
Oh, yeah, he was
you
horrible.
know,
Oh, man.
to me, I'm like, how have y'all checked him out yet?
Okay.
Got rid of all the other Mark Furmans.
And not just Mark Furman, the white haired. I remember Van Adder with the dark hair and the mustache, but the one with the white hair had a vial of OJ's blood in his pocket
overnight,
How do you
and
do
came
that?
back with less blood.
Come on.
Came back with less, and then they just happened to find, like on the FX series, they smeared OJ blood all over the Bronco.
Yeah.
When they first looked at the Bronco. You know what I'm saying? But in all actuality, they found like a little drop, and it just
Yeah,
happened to
little
be like a
drop.
little drop
Yeah.
missing from the blood that he gave, and
Right.
he gives it on like the 5th floor, and you're supposed to take it to like
The 3rd
10th
floor.
floor. Or no, he gives it like the 12th floor. You're supposed to take it to the 5th floor, something like that.
Yeah.
You go down. You
The
ain't gotta
point
go
is,
up.
you're supposed to turn it in.
But
and you take it
Not be
home
walking
overnight.
around the crime scene with
And-
the evidence in your pocket.
Yeah,
No.
and the way they did it on the miniseries, they had him hand OJ's blood to him at the scene, but they did it real quick. But it's anybody that caught it is going to be like, why is OJ blood at the scene?
Yes.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
and that's how
Yes.
they were able to, and in those situations, you cannot, like, if reasonable doubt is our standard, that's reasonable doubt. Unless you show me a bunch of his blood out there, but you show me a drop.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's really
Get
what
it.
freed OJ. We couldn't trust LAPD. There was no trust for them at all. And with the shaky evidence, Dr. Lee said there was 2 different knives used. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
All they had was motive.
Oh, yeah, they had motive. Yeah.
But they didn't even really have motive. They had a perceived
a
motive
perceived
based
motive.
off of.
Yeah.
Mark Salin doing nasty things to his girl, so he's emotionally upset and wanting to.
I don't really want to
somebody.
talk about that case because it was resolved. The
Right.
sad thing for me is, and it ain't really sad because that was taken care of back then. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I'm not following OJ. And to get up today to look at the news, which I've been avoiding because of the number 45 and the Congress and the Senate, I've been ignoring the news because of them.
Man,
Okay.
you gotta pay attention. They just did this, and I got to respond to my aunt because they just passed this order, Jeff Sessions, about these asset forfeitures.
Oh, man.
Excuse
That's
me.
such a hot mess.
These cops about to start trying to get folks.
Right.
And the way I see it, before they burned down Black Wall Street, they looted it.
Yes, they did. Yes, they
And
did.
When you look at this situation, they come snatch up all your stuff. Like somebody like me, it's a little different because I can prove to you real quick, that I should be able to have whatever I have, and I don't even feel like I live above my means. Not in material things. If I live above my means, it's like in like food.
But if you do, that's still your
business.
business. And look, that kind of plays into what Smitty said last week because we were talking about how do you survive an encounter with law enforcement. I disagreed with you. Okay, but you disagree with the joke I told, and I agree with you about that joke. But it was an older man. It was a stupid response, but it was in the context of how the black men survive an encounter with law enforcement. And so Smitty's Signature Pudding, had to give up his classic Impala to get the Compton sheriffs to stop stopping him.
Yeah, he said, man, just come on, search whatever, so I can
Yeah.
go on. He said every time he come into Compton,
Every time.
this is the routine.
In his Impala. And he said once he
He had the
parked that
rims
and
on
got
it. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He got the rims on the Impala, and I'm thinking, why can't you have
Why can't he have a classic
rims?
Impala with rims?
Wow.
Okay, and them harassing him once he gave up the Impala and got a family van kind of thing. They leave him alone.
that's
You
the
see,
thing.
and this is the thing.
That's a problem.
Yeah, it is a big problem. So what Mel? Because we asked the three of them, how do you handle that? Mel said the first thing I do is throw the keys out the window. I just throw the keys out the window and put my hands up. And when they say open the door, no, you open the door. I'm not moving.
Right.
I'm not moving.
Yeah, he said that.
Yeah.
Said, I
And
ain't
he
reaching
had
for that
all the
door.
attitude you had. All the attitude you would respect as a black man. No, I ain't doing nothing. Here's the keys. I ain't moving.
Right.
I ain't moving.
So it's a sad state when our black men are being stereotyped. The perception they have of us is that we are either on parole or probation. We are criminal minded. We have
You're
some sort of
armed and
activity.
dangerous.
Just as you mentioned, your friends who all have college education, and
Yeah.
because they're on Slauson and 6th Avenue, they were viewed as being someone that should have been made contact with by
Right.
LAPD. How do we change that perception, man? How do we change the perception of that?
Well, that's Metro.
Right.
That's an easy fix.
Get 'em up
We
outta
know
here.
where the problem is
Tell us
on
how to
that.
fix
It's like
Metro, 'cause we about
Metro
sick of them.
need to stop being so militaristic. That's the issue. They come in like they don't know nothing about you.
They don't care.
Yeah,
But
don't
they
really.
come in with a
don't care.
helicopter,
Yeah.
a gang of
Don't care.
unmarked cars, like just to meet you. Like that's
Do you know they started a whole neighborhood lockdown for doing exactly what you said. Come in an unmarked car, jump out on these young men standing in the neighborhood. The guy standing in the neighborhood thought they was about to be attacked by their enemy, so they shoot off a couple of rounds. Metro locks the whole area down, wants to search everybody, and they're the ones that instigate
that's the whole
So
thing.
that's my question. Remember, I was
Yeah.
asking the question. So a young man who is running, not knowing who he's running from,
Yeah.
and is getting shot at by LAPD, if he recognizes and sees that that's LAPD shooting at him, and they are still shooting at him, does he have the right to shoot back?
What it comes down to is no one has a greater right to life than anyone else. That's what it comes down to. And there's going to be a standard. Now, when he recognizes LAPD,
But they still shooting.
but what I'm saying is if he recognizes it and say, I give up, and they let off another one, now he's in that situation. I think you're reasonable in doing that. But even it really comes down to that person, though, because this is what somebody or the reasonable person that has been through what this person has been through. Because if you've experienced the police trying to kill you on some assassination type stuff, but you got away, then, or you've seen police do that to other people,
Right.
then it could be reasonable for you to feel that's what's going on now.
Right.
I'm being assassinated.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's all about the person and the situation. It's really a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, but
And-
we don't get that benefit of the doubt. When the police shoot us, we're automatically guilty. Okay, it's just charged that way. Like I said about the
which is, and
the
if you
four
know that
men.
and you don't act accordingly, i.e., responsibly arm yourself, then there's a problem. But the thing is, the police is, I think the black community is justified in arming themselves with the mindset of defending against the police. But I think arming ourselves, those of us in our community who are focused on the community and doing right by that community, the people who are willing to do wrong by that community all have guns,
Yeah,
both sides.
yeah.
So
Well, that was the
Crips, the
excuse
Bloods,
that
and
they
the
used.
police.
Well, that was the excuse they used for killing these 4 young men. They all had guns. So we didn't get the backstory where they waving at somebody. Had they?
They were
attacked
running from the police.
No, that's what-
Everybody in our community runs from the police. If
Yeah.
they got a gun, they want to take it home.
Yeah.
They want to throw it on the roof. They want to do something with it.
Hide it so they can come
hide
back
it
and
so
get
they
it
come back and
later.
get it. But what
Yeah.
happens is the police see or know they have a gun, see them grabbing their waistband or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's the Joey Badass. You ever listen to his album?
No.
He say that. He say that on his album that the code word for killing a black man is he has a gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the police code word.
Yeah.
He say
Yeah.
that, and I was listening to it, I was like, yo. Then you see that, and you go see the Carnell Snell situation, and you know when you go to the shooting range and they call it like tight groups, like you know if you
Right.
busting and all your bullets that you let off a clip of 10 and they all in this 3-inch
You
radius.
mean that
can
fence
shoot,
that
you
that
know?
officer shot through with
Man,
that
you
bullet
see how
pattern
tight-
chasing Cornell? Yeah, I saw
I
it.
those
just
holes
deleted
were.
it from my phone. I had it for a year. I just
Did you?
deleted it.
Wow.
Man, those holes were tight. You could shoot.
He
It
was really
good.
trying to kill
And
him.
you could see through
He was
that,
trying
too.
to kill him. There was no question about it. And then to have it turn out that once he was trapped in that laundry room or wherever that was, to find out that he was shot in the back.
Right.
You know, see, we have to find out. We have to ask them those kind of questions they don't want to answer. So that's why we need the power behind the voices that are backing you. We're not going to let them withhold your access to the client that you come there to help. You know, right or wrong, he has a right to legal counsel. And the law says that you have to give his legal counsel access to him. And for them to interfere that way, it's just beyond what's reasonable. Okay?
Constitution, the law, and the policy.
There it is. Well, I like what you said. Your business card is your warrant. I love that. It's like, hey, that's my warrant to
Bar
go back
card.
here. Bar card.
Bar card,
Okay. Bar card, yeah.
Yeah.
That's your
Business
warrant.
card is one
yeah, that's
thing,
the
you know.
But a bar card, yeah.
Yeah,
Bar
don't
card.
everybody have a bar card.
No.
Yeah.
But that's why I appreciated what he said. That's my warrant that allows me access in here.
Yeah.
So we agree with that, and we just want to make sure that we find a way that to stop that nonsense. And I was actually advocating some community members. Now you're doing Taco Mel. Taco Mel's working so hard last week.
Oh man, now he was back up and yawn. And
Man.
he almost started snoring. He was, but he's working long hours. I am too, but you know, it's
Yeah,
Thursdays.
this grind is real, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a couple things. That's that right to life piece is a right to defend yourself at all levels, right? So if whoever it is, a private citizen, whoever, if they're attacking you unjustly, you have a right to defend yourself using offense. You know, it's not just you have a right to.
Is it reasonable force? So
It's
do I have a
reasonable
right?
Force.
I have a
It's-
right to defend myself based on the force that they're using against me.
Yeah, and the problem with society is that we've allowed law enforcement to shoot for such like unjustified reasons
Right.
that now, if that situation comes up but it's unjustified, my argument is going to be, if my client was a cop and they shot under these same circumstances, would you convict? No, because they would have had the same right, and my client got that same right that the cop has.
Right.
But if cops went down for this, you know, I wouldn't have that argument.
Right. You know, one of the things that I heard, listen to the radio today, is there are 2 police officers who are right now on paid administrative leave who are under, I don't know, they're going to court because they lied. They wanted to get off work and they lied about a car accident. and they're traffic officers, and they lied about the car accident where the person was drunk, and because they want to hurry up and get off this at the end of their shift, they kind of swept it under the rug, and the person was drunk and people were hurt. So they falsified reports. So that was the topic this morning on the radio when I'm listening to the news, and I'm thinking they are sure going to get these guys. But they're not going to get the officers who are shooting the unarmed men. But they're going to make an example of these guys who lied on the report just simply because they want to get off work early. But when we talk about defending ourselves and the right to fight the police or the right to run from the police, all these officers in the Stephen Eugene Washington case and the Ezell Ford case, they're not bringing them to trial.
No.
They're not sending them to prison for second-degree murder, if not first.
No.
That's
It's
crazy.
an
So do
inequity.
we blame Jackie Lacey? Do we blame our prosecutor for that?
Well, we can't blame the jury.
Yeah, because there isn't one.
Right.
The sad reality for the black community in Los Angeles, we've never had the district attorney on our side. Jackie Lacey or the guy that was before him. So
Before her.
Before her. I'm sorry.
Cooley. Was it Steve Cooley?
Cooley was kind of cool from my perspective. He had chilled out on that crack tip kind of early, going hard on that because, Garcetti would like strike you out on crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told Dana Garcetti, man, I had too many fights with your daddy. I had to quit. Every time I go to court, it's the state of California versus me, and being represented by Gil Garcetti. I'm thinking, man, how I'm going to fight them?
No. You're not intended to fight. See,
Right.
that's the sad reality of what we're trying to get to know your rights, because the concept is for you to lose.
Right.
That's the whole that the arena is for you to lose. You're guilty until you can prove you're innocent.
Even with what you're talking about, Jaye, about I have the right to life. Yeah, that's good sitting here amongst you two. I have the right to life. But imagine me being in the court with Garcetti, Cooley, or Jackie Lacey, whoever, Marsha Clark, whoever you want to put there, and I'm talking about I shot at them because I have the right to live too.
No,
So
they done
what?
hung you.
No, it all depends on what you was doing. What
It doesn't matter. A
circumstances.
black man. Well,
Like,
we just
if
have to
you-
deal in the reality. A black man
Right.
with a gun in the presence of law enforcement
I'm wrong
is going to be a
immediately.
homicide victim.
That's right there. That
Yeah.
stop right there. That makes me wrong. That right there makes me wrong. I'm a black man with a gun on Slauson and 6th Ave or on Washington and Arlington or wherever you got me in South LA. I am wrong.
We
I
got
should
the most racist gun laws in the country. Everybody
And you're
say we have
subject
the
to
most
murder.
strict gun laws. We have the most racist gun laws.
Yeah, we do.
That's the whole point.
The bottom line is that black men are not allowed to have guns. We just
'Cause they're
have
scared
to.
of the
We're
Black
not.
Panthers
We're not
happening.
allowed to have guns because that was the motivation for killing those 4 young men. They had guns.
And they banning these assault rifles. How many deaths in the street is caused by assault rifle? Compared to what's the one reason that you really ban the assault rifle? When these cops, one of them got my client for an assault rifle that he purchased legally. He was just here from Maryland and brought it with him, but the search I felt was illegal. The judge ruled against it. But this cop, when I asked him about how he like, I got 3 of them.
He can have one, but not your
Yeah, I done
client.
had like
Yeah.
3 illegal searches with this cop. And that's why I couldn't see why the judge would not throw this one out when one of them was in front of you. And 2, he claims not to have participated in this at all. This is a Dodge Durango. This is a big car. And he had to take him somebody had to take him to the car. You saying the other cop took him to the car, searched him on the computer and searched the car?
Right.
Now that's the kind of stories they tell. And so yeah, I don't
And
know.
that's a possession of a firearm. But imagine I shot at him.
Well, look at
I'm going to go to prison.
The fine line right here in this conversation is Philando Castillo.
Right.
In a right to have gun state.
A right to carry,
Right
right.
to carry state. And still kill with his license still in his pocket. Come on.
Right.
See, and it just...
And that's because we've accepted cops to be able to shoot based off of fear.
we haven't accepted anything.
No,
this is what's
so
being done to us, and
the
this
cop
is the
got
power
acquitted,
we have
right?
to fight.
Yes,
The
he
cop
did.
got acquitted.
Yeah.
And how many
Yeah.
other cops were never prosecuted?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Yes.
therefore, we have accepted
Not we.
the brave.
Not
Not we.
We as a society have accepted
No.
the brave. The
That
ones
that other society.
yeah,
They
but we
have
not a
give
part of.
accepted.
them,
Thank
we
you.
give them
Yeah.
discounts on stuff, and people honor them. And,
Not me.
You know, but society does, right? Why?
That's why I say we not
But-
part of society.
well,
That's why I was
I-
arguing
I
with you on
feel
4th
you.
of July.
I feel you,
But you
but
still pop fireworks even after I argue with you. You still was
Yeah.
up there.
Well, we like the fireworks,
because
so any
because
excuse.
there's a part of it that is mine.
It's not ours.
Is well, I understand that too, and that's
It's not our system, man.
Bro, it is being a like African. That's the most confusing. I'm an African American. I'm confused.
I'm not. I'm black.
yeah.
What am I? I don't get that. It's so confusing. But
It is.
I'm gonna
And-
take
and
that
you know
American
what?
part too, and I'm gonna.
They don't put a value on us. The value they put on us is 15 to life. They put a
Yeah.
value on us on
Yes.
how long we could do in prison.
Yes.
And you know this. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not with you.
$75,000 annual
I'm not
budget,
with you when
yes.
you go into the courtroom, but you know, and I'm gonna tell you what they think about you. Like Ice Cube said, here's what they think about you. They don't like you,
They don't
and you
like
know
you.
that.
Yeah.
They wish.
Didn't Kendrick Lamar say that at the Grammys when he performed? We know you don't like us. Come on. We
Right.
know you don't like
But I gotta
us.
get the trend because this one judge, I'm sitting there telling them all about it's a criminal threats case. So I'm telling them all about what the law states. You know, it's a context. It has to be. Is there a prior history? Do they know this person? It's a context to this. For it to be a criminal offense. And that's why there's criminal offense convictions that have been held up where people have said, I'm going to go talk to my friends about you.
Right.
That's upheld as a criminal conviction based off of what she knew. So if that can be upheld, then saying, man, I'm going to shoot you. In what context? What kind? Because if they talking about Gears of War and playing a video game,
Or dice.
yeah, or something. You know what I'm saying? Then it's not. So you can't just look at the word. What context made this
yeah.
a threat? And because it has to be reasonably taken as a threat. I can't be playing my video game and it's reasonable you took it as a threat. And I'm really, you've been shooting me and I'm shooting you now. I'm saying I'm finna shoot you, and it's a threat. So you gotta look at the context. And he just kept going over the words without even looking at the context. So I really got to check that transcript because I don't recall.
But think about that, and think about the other judge. Think about the judge that told you that I wasn't a gang expert. But
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna say, but there's another officer who they had as a gang expert, and when he came in, do you know that I have trained him?
You trained him.
and also sat with him in Jim Gilliam Park during Summer Night Lights when he said that the reason I'm here, Skip, on the gang unit is because I'm fast. He said I can outrun all these dudes. But it's not that he has a knowledge of gangs. He went to college. He went to Cal State LA, and he's a track star.
And he could run fast.
He can run fast. So they have him in there, and she tells me that I'm not a gang expert, but they allowed him to speak.
Well, you
as a
know
gang
what? See,
expert.
because I noticed on an election, I was so disgusted. That's the only decent word to use. And how many former gang prosecutors were running for judge. Running for this, running for that. Former gang prosecutor.
Well, that's what
and
they
that
do.
was their calling
And they're not
card.
former gang prosecutors.
right.
Well,
They're
yeah,
not former.
Current gang prosecutors.
Right.
Yeah.
And and we need a buffer zone for them too.
Yes,
They need
yes,
a year.
yes.
Like in
Not a
judge
year.
training.
They need more than a year.
They
At
need more
least a
than a
year because you can't go from prosecute, and then I'm a judge and I'm just fair.
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
You, know what I'm
You
saying?
ain't been fair. Huh?
I did.
You got a
fair.
history of not being
Well,
fair.
Yeah.
You've been
If you
one-sided
identify
in this,
yourself as a
man.
gang prosecutor, you're already showing bias. You're already showing bias.
Yeah, that's what you running as.
Yeah.
Then what
Yeah.
I'm gonna do to these gang members now?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I get to shooting up.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's the system. And I was even thinking, like,
Is that your
man,
system?
That's our system.
That is not
what
my
I'm
It's
saying?
their system.
That is not
We're
my
just
system.
in it.
That's not my
It's
system.
not our system, dude.
That's not my system.
What
We're
old boy
just
say,
victims of it.
Said I'm his daddy. The system is mama.
No, that ain't my system,
Yeah.
and I ain't claiming
Well, I
it.
tell you like this, man. It's the system that we're living in, and until we change it, it's going to be the system. But I do think there is now an argument to revise how we pick judges and rid the jury system.
Oh,
No, why would we want to rid the jury system? Because you stated before, too, like in the juvenile courts, they're not even allowed to have a jury. So now we're putting everything, even now, because they moved the whether or not the juvenile could be tried as adult. It used to be under the prosecution, but now it's up to the judge. So now everything lies within that one individual, and that one individual might have a bias that we know or that we don't know.
That we
It's
don't
not
know.
that
Yeah.
easy. I mean, it's low key easy to become a judge. Not easy, but if you've been practicing and you popular, you can become a judge. You see what I'm saying? And the reason I say that, I guess my time in South Africa, they only got judges. I was like, heck no, I can't do that. But now I see the way they, I got a murder case on. That happened on Jefferson and 9th, and we downtown, and out of 90 jurors, we got like
3 blacks.
12 from South LA, and only like 7 of them is black. And how this happened right here? And these are the numbers of jurors that we have. And it ain't like it's even hella Latinos. It's like gang of Asians, Armenians, whites, and
I think I
How
told
does
you.
this happen?
I think I told you about the filtering question they asked people of color on jury on criminal trials. Have you or your family member ever had an encounter with law enforcement? And that clears the jury box of every person of color.
No, it doesn't. They
Yes, it
survived
does.
that.
Hey, every time that I've been
How
there.
many juries you done picked?
Wait. The last one, it was a defendant. And guess who his attorney was? Christopher Darden.
How many
You think I
juries
didn't
you
want to
done
get
picked?
on that jury?
I only got like 11.
Well,
Well,
look, we got
figured-
about 2.5 minutes left,
Okay.
y'all. So let's find out. Are you gonna leave the audience with something, man? They want to ask the attorney something. What's the most asked question? What you want to leave them with, man? How we gonna keep everybody alive?
Yeah.
You have to exercise your rights. Your most important are your First Amendment, because that's what you say. There are consequences to what you say, but you have freedom as long as you don't go too far, threaten nobody, nothing like that.
But what about it when the police got me? I have the right to do what?
Is to tell them you have the right to know why they got you.
I got the right to remain silent. I don't want to know shit.
Yeah.
I don't
You
want to
might
ask
not
them
want
nothing.
to-
I don't want nothing.
No, you for sure got the right to remain silent.
Yeah.
But that's in the Fifth Amendment. And the
Oh,
First
okay,
Amendment
my bad.
is you have now. This is your right to speak and say something if you want to. You know what I'm saying?
I don't wanna say
But
that.
what's also very important is your freedom of association.
Like,
Is-
I can hang out
is
with
in the
the-
First
with the-
Amendment. That's why those gang injunctions are unconstitutional.
So I can hang with the Crips and the Bloods. if I
Man,
want
you can
to.
hang with whoever you have the right to freely associate with whoever. That's why the KKK is a constitutional organization.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's first. Second Amendment, you got the right to bear arms. There may be disagreement, but show me an enemy that don't have guns, and then I'll say maybe we shouldn't have guns. And the Fourth Amendment, your right against unreasonable search and seizures. Like no, you can't search me.
It's the Fourth
No.
Amendment.
No.
I'm gonna text that right now.
Yeah.
Send it out
No,
on
no,
Facebook
no,
Live.
no.
We really need to have
Yeah.
a seminar where you can actually instruct our community, young people, on knowing their rights. And this is one thing that we can do to help ourselves, because it's very serious. And our kids will get killed from not knowing they have rights and what rights they are. So
And your Sixth Amendment right to counsel. But it's really your Fifth Amendment right to counsel that you get out in the street. Your Sixth Amendment right to counsel is in court.
Okay, tell me that fourth one again. I got the right to what?
You got the right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures.
So when the police approach me and say they want to search my car, they want to, I say no. They want to come in the house.
say
I
no.
say no,
No, yeah,
and I can tell them my attorney said that, right?
yeah.
All right.
They can't do it without a warrant?
Can't do it
Can't
without
do
a
it
warrant.
without a warrant. There is the vehicle exception if they're arresting you, but they can't just search your car without probable cause of a crime being committed. And the fact of smelling marijuana
That was my
prove to me I committed a crime.
Right.
In
Well,
this
not
car.
now. Now the state of California has
Exactly.
agreed
Legal, yeah.
on marijuana.
But
so
that's
I can,
what I'm saying. So
I can
now
smoke
you-
marijuana and
so-
tell the police they can't search my car.
Well, you
and my
smoking
attorney,
and driving,
Jaye
smoking and
Person
driving may still be a crime, even though I don't know
I'ma-
how they
I'ma
prove
smoke at the
you
stop
too
signs
high.
then.
But if you
It's in the privacy of your
in your
home.
garage
Yeah.
with your car
Yeah.
and your windows down and you hotboxing in your garage, you can do that, right? And then when you
Hotboxing
drive
in the
off,
garage,
it's gonna
Lord.
smell like weed, right?
Yes, it will.
So so prove to me that didn't happen.
Well,
Right.
Jaye, we're gonna have you overturn all the marijuana laws, all those that have been convicted for smoking marijuana.
No, it's who have been searched for the smell of marijuana.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
the
making a
issue.
joke again,
That's
but
the issue.
you see, it's serious. It's
Yeah.
serious. We got a lot of young men that are in prison for weed violations, and I think
and
it's
who
time
got convicted
to,
just for having it. They
yeah,
all
just
gotta
for
go
having
too.
it. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, we got to say, it's time to say, keep your head to the sky.
Yeah.
Had Jaye Person Lynn here.
Yeah.
Always
Another
good.
fast hour.
Always
Straight out of
appreciate it.
Inglewood,
Thank you all for having me.
attorney. Instead of joining the local gang in Inglewood, he went to Hampton. He's a Hampton lawyer, a Lincoln lawyer. Which one?
Hampton
Hampton
Lawyer.
University,
Hampton
Howard
University.
University School of Law.
Yes, sir.
No,
That's
Hustle
all right.
Gang. You know.
All right, say something to Facebook Live to you.
Oh man, Hustle Gang, Howard University School of Law graduates achieving nothing but greatness. You know,
That's right. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
God bless you, community family. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week.